All right, good morning again. This is Nick Petro at the National Weather Service in Raleigh with your Monday morning routine, regularly scheduled weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina, covering this week, September 24th through the 30th. And certainly, I hope everybody's recovering and recovering from Hurricane Florence and Tropical Storm Florence, and wishing everybody a speedy recovery with that. But while we're on the topics of tropics, this is the system that has been catching everybody's attention, particularly in the media and seeing reports and such online. But there's this area of disturbed weather, kind of halfway between Bermuda and the Bahamas there, and there's been some debate as to, is this like a remnant or a piece of lingering of Florence? What's the deal? Is it Florence? Is it not Florence? There's still there's still a lot of debate. Looks like regardless of whatever it is an area of disturbed weather, and is forecast to pretty much by all the models to just generally kind of recurve up to the west, northwest, and then north. Now it's possible that the Outer Banks could see some rain from whatever this disturbance is, and the Hurricane Center has it at a 40% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. But the good news is nearly all the models show that the heaviest rain and wind, if this were to become a tropical system, should stay basically stay offshore. Maybe affecting the Outer Banks, but mostly being an offshore feature. So anyway, that should not be a concern at all for Central North Carolina. Okay, and even for Eastern North Carolina, most of like I said, the wind and the rain by most models show that this system here has a more of a rightward kind of tilt towards it, and that is most of the wind and rain being on the right side of the track, or right side of the path, or whatever you want to call it, the wherever the surface low ends up moving. Okay, so just wanted to kind of get that out of the way up front, because that's really not going to be much of an impact for us here in Central North Carolina, and probably not a whole lot of impact really for the coastal areas either, with most of the rain staying offshore. All right, so what about the rivers? Certainly Eastern North Carolina is still dealing with major flooding in a lot of areas along a lot of rivers. And we're still dealing with some moderate flooding, even on the Neuse River in the central portions of Central North Carolina. Particularly, I wanted to highlight Goldsboro. Everything else in Central North Carolina is below flood stage. You see a lot of the diamond shapes in the circles all there across Central North Carolina. Everything is below flood stage. So the only one I want to point out is Goldsboro, and Goldsboro is falling pretty good now. Is expected to be below flood stage. Let's see, where's flood stage? Right here. If you just draw that line straight down, that should be sometime Tuesday morning. Okay, so by this time to tomorrow, Goldsboro should be, the Neuse River at Goldsboro should be below flood stage. If you want to take a look at any of these other sites here, just click on this link here. When I email the PDF version of these slides, just click this link and that'll take you to the page where you can get these hydrographs. All right. Okay, so with that out of the way too, let's focus on the rest of the week. We've got kind of an interesting cool season type pattern over us right now, with a cold air damming signature. Notice the front to our south and high pressure nosing in from the New England states. That's a classic kind of cold air damming pattern. So all the gray skies, the low clouds, the mist, the fog, the cool temperatures, that's a very cool season feature. So anyway, but along the coast, there's some warmer temperatures and The difference between the warmer temperatures near the coast and the cool temperatures over interior sections of North Carolina may set the stage for a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm to move across at least eastern and east central North Carolina later today. So we could see a few showers, probably most places seeing less than a half-inch of rain. The same thing will happen on Tuesday. And I'll also point out that this little feature, this little low feature here, is expected to lift up to the kind of to the north, as we just talked about 2 slides ago. And again, most of the rain with that staying to the east. And then once that system gets out of the way, then we're going to focus next on this cold front here over the Ohio Valley and lower Mississippi Valley. That will move into the state come Wednesday. And that'll give us a chance for some rain Wednesday into Thursday, maybe even lingering into Friday as that front stalls across the area. There's kind of a hint of a stalled front, or at least a remnant of a cold front in here. And that will give us enough focus for some, maybe a few passing showers late in the week as well. By Sunday, we should have high pressure building in and maybe a nice day on Sunday. All right, so that's basically the gist of this week, is that the best chance for rain will be Wednesday into Thursday, and then a few lingering showers Friday into Saturday, and perhaps a few passing showers even today and Tuesday. But again, all in all, shouldn't be a whole lot. Speaking of how much, well, before I get to that, here's from the Storm Prediction Center. We are not highlighted for marginal, slight, or anything worse than that. Maybe a few thunderstorms around, can't rule it out, but severe thunderstorm activity is not expected in the next 3 days. Okay, so what about the rainfall amounts? Well, little, if any, rain today, little, if any, rain Tuesday. Again, notice how the heaviest rainfall amounts are across the Outer Banks and points east. Again, that's associated with that little feature coming up from the south that's currently halfway between the Bahamas and Bermuda. But for us, any rain that we do get will be on the lighter side, less than a half inch. And then on Wednesday, look at this strip of rain that's associated with that cold front that I pointed out. And then notice Thursday and Friday how that blue area just kind of stays shaded over us. That's because that boundary is going to be stalled over us. And anytime we have a cold front that's stalled over the area, that's going to set the stage maybe for a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm along it. Look at these blue amounts. Those blue amounts equate to a half inch to 3/4 inch. Maybe some spot might see an inch out of the, if there's a passing thunderstorm. But when you add up the 7-day amounts, look at these amounts here on the 7-day. We've got this kind of lighter blue shading here, which equates to, somewhere in this inch to inch and a half. So the heaviest rain being offshore. Notice again, here's what I was trying to point out earlier. Notice this swath of heavier rain. That is associated with that little tropical feature there. And again, most of that rain being confined offshore. For us, most of the state should see, somewhere between inch, maybe an inch and a half. There could be a few spots with a little more, could be a few spots with a little less. The places that have a little more, maybe, you just happen to have a thunderstorm with a good downpour versus the other locations that saw less, that didn't see any thunder and just saw maybe a passing lighter shower. Bottom line is, on average, most of the state should see anywhere from an inch to an inch and a half, maybe a little bit more in a few spots. Okay, so, an inch or two of rain, but nothing too crazy in terms of, high amounts. All right. Looking ahead to the next week, odds slightly tilt towards it being a little bit above normal precipitation, but again, this is kind of challenging. There's no real signals in the pattern that would suggest strongly that it'll be above normal or below normal precipitation for that matter. So anyway, that pretty much wraps up the week for Central North Carolina. And just kind of summarizing it again, widely scattered showers today and Tuesday, less than a half inch of rainfall each day. The bulk of the rain associated with the weather disturbance off the Carolina coast should remain east of the Outer Banks. Maybe some of that rain gets over the Outer Banks, but the heaviest rain should be offshore. And then we're going to see increased rain chances during the Wednesday through Friday time frame due to that cold front that I mentioned. Maybe another half inch to an inch of rain possible. Again, if you get under a thunderstorm, it might be, isolated heavier amounts. but it shouldn't be widespread heavy amounts. And then a few lingering showers on Saturday, and maybe less than a half-inch additional rainfall. Finally, some dry weather on Sunday. The Neuse River at Goldsboro is expected to drop below flood stage by midday tomorrow. Basically, by this time tomorrow, it'll be below flood stage. And then all other rivers across central North Carolina are below flood stage. So anyway, that is the summary for central North Carolina and the weekly briefing for this week.